Don't even be on it, I be going with the wind. Don't even be on it.
The Migos is an American hip-hop group from Lawrenceville, Georgia, founded in 2008. The group was originally composed of the three Southern rappers who are actually related. Quavo being the uncle of the late Takeoff, and Offset, who was their cousin. The three would run around Miss Edna Marshall's home, who was Quavo's mom, day in and day out, creating their own renditions of their favorite artists' performances, wrestling, boxing, and roughhousing with each other, doing what little healthy boys typically do. Quavo's sister, Tatiana Davenport, who was also Takeoff's mother, was a hairstylist around the local, who would also later give birth to Takeoff's sister, Heaven Davenport. Tatiana, who mingled with a tougher and older crowd at a young age, got mixed in with an older guy, only known as Mr. Ball, eventually getting pregnant and giving birth to Takeoff. Mr. Ball would leave by the time Takeoff would turn 5. Now the four would grow up alongside each other, being raised by Quavo's mom. Though things were tough, she kept faith throughout the years and continued to be the strong figure and pillar that would influence their astonishing career in the years to come. She says she always saw something special in those boys, and though times were hard, she was determined to keep all of her kids as trendy and fly as the next. Even though the boys did many things growing up together, they were especially happy when they would shine together with their vocal performances around the holidays in the family living room, always putting on a show. And Takeoff being the smallest of the group, he was so eager to be like his cousin and uncle. He grew and learned faster than them all. Takeoff and Quavo would constantly fight as kids, and their uncle and nephew relationship was more like a love-hate sibling rivalry. And with the two having to share most of each other's things coming up, that was inevitable. Eventually, they would mature and go on to form a group called the Polo Club, which came from three amigos. They would carry on making music on the Atlanta scene, gradually growing and changing their name to just the Migos. Their first smash hit entitled Versace would top Billboard charts and get noticed by the rap icon Drake, who quickly jumped on the track and made the Migos a household name overnight. The Migos released their commercial debut album Versace in 2013, taken from their mixtape Young Rich Niggas. They've gone on to release several more singles, including Fight Night, Look at My Dab, and their 4 Billboard Hot 100 top 10 entries, Bad and Bougie, featuring Lil Uzi Vert, peaking at number 1, Motorsport with Nicki Minaj and Cardi B in 2017, which peaked at 6, Stir Fry, which peaked at 8, and Walk It Like I Talk It, peaking at number 10, featuring Drake in 2018. They were unstoppable. The Migos would also get into several beefs within the rap game amongst the likes of Lil Baby, XXXTentacion, and others. I don't want to get into the dark side of things, but these guys, they were aggressive from time to time, and in an industry like that, you have to be. Now, Offset, being an aggressor, got into several beefs with other entertainers throughout the years, the likes of XXXTentacion, Lil Baby, amongst others. Surprisingly, he was also the first to settle down. He would eventually get married to rising star Cardi B from the Bronx, New York. Not long after, the Migos would go on a brief hiatus and we wouldn't hear them for a while. They would all go on creating separate projects, Takeoff and Quavo mainly being together still, Offset with family. Time would go by and the rumors would continuously spread about the Migos being broken up for good. Offset didn't sound as great without his two cousins, and his two cousins were missing something with Offset being off the scene. Takeoff and Quavo would go on to create hot solo projects on their own, but debuts fell short of expectations. Takeoff and Quavo would go on and release several projects titled as the Migos without Offset. Takeoff, being the engine that steered the Migos, was all that Quavo really needed. Offset would continue to do the family thing. Rumors would continue on and get worse about word exchange between the trio, and a lot of people had lost hope in seeing the Migos ever be one again. People claim that it was financial woes that kept these guys at each other's throats. Some people say it was egos. Other people claim it was a simple unfollow on Instagram. On Noriega's Drink Champs, he asked Quavo and Takeoff, was there a possibility of you guys getting together on any type of verses? And Takeoff replied, if the check is right. This would add more fuel to the fire, making that Migos hiatus an even longer one than expected. The Migos would never get a chance to see that time of being reunited as a group again, because on the night of Halloween, Takeoff and Quavo would travel out to Houston, Texas. And out in Houston, they would link up with the son of J Prince, Jazz Prince. Out there, with Jazz Prince's entourage, they would embark on a night of fun. They would go to a party, would go to an event, and afterwards they would attend an after party. The after party turned out to be somewhere at a bowling alley. Photos and video show several parties armed, headed to the event. Even Quavo and his entourage. But somehow, at the end of the night, tragedy would strike. There would be a dispute with Quavo and one of the Mob Ties members. It would go back and forth about a dice game and then about basketball, and I guess Quavo's basketball skills. Quavo took it as petty and kind of sensed the body language of everybody around him. So he took it amongst himself to say, okay guys, we're gonna go, we're gonna leave. In the videos documented by TMC, you can see people reaching for guns. There are other celebrities there, boxers, athletes, people who have nothing to do with any entourage as far as the gang activity or rap activity as well. As Quavo left the building, he was swung on by one of the men that you couldn't really see on camera. There was a lot of activity that you couldn't see on camera, but you could clearly hear gunshots. One in the beginning, which sounded really muffled, and then several at the end, which sounded like they were flying into open space. When the smoke and the people would clear, there would be 3 people shot, with Takeoff sadly being one of the people identified as the deceased. Devastating and shocking millions of fans ended an era of one of the greatest rap trios